there, and welcome to Tuesday's E-Companion Insight with me, Chetan, Pathak, live from our studios in London. Our chance to talk about some of the stories making headlines here in India and around the world. Coming up on the programme, we're going to talk for the first half a little bit about India and Pakistan. Pakistan has launched its own Clean and Green Pakistan campaign. We've seen India do the same with Swachh Bharat. Now Imran Khan is launching his campaign to clean up Pakistan. We'll look at what perhaps is inspiration to it, what they can learn from what's happened in India and its chances of succeeding. We're also going to continue on a conversation we started last week about these stalled talks between India and Pakistan. Pakistan's now asked the US to take a role almost as a mediator, something the US has rejected, and India's still not willing to open up dialogue around Kashmir and trying to find a solution to the problems that are in the region. We'll also talk before 6 o'clock about the Rohingya refugees who have been sent back, this first group of 7 that India has deported, and India's own position at the moment on the Rohingya. Of course, thousands have made their way to India, hundreds of thousands more have made their way to Bangladesh following the crisis in Myanmar. We'll also, before 6 o'clock, talk about the Sabrimala temple in Kerala and a plea that's underway. And this is after the Supreme Court, of course, allowed women of menstruating age to visit the temple. Up until then, they were not allowed. Certain groups are trying to appeal that verdict, but at the moment, that decision very much stands. We'll also talk about vegetarianism in India and the fact that it's not growing, and the latest figures show that the number of meat eaters are on the rise. We'll try and break down some of the states for you and give you what they look like region to region, and if we have time, and only if we have time, because it's a story that's been front page news here. Not everyone thinks it should be even page 7 news, but it's the front page news. It's the most read news story on the BBC's news website. For example, if you've been following Strictly, this is the question: should they stay? This was a couple that was caught kissing. They're both in relationships. We will get onto this only if we have time. My guest today is Saloni, Belaid, entrepreneur, back on the show. Thank you.
Thank you,
Saloni, for joining us. Let's start, Saloni, with this Clean and Green Pakistan campaign that Imran Khan is launching. I know you are a supporter of Narendra Modi and the BJP, and one of the things that you'll point to, I think, is Swachh Bharat and Modi's vision there in India.
Exactly, and it's nice to see that he's inspired Imran Khan, because he's taken a leaf out of Modi's book to clean up Pakistan.
And although he hasn't used those words, there's no reference from Imran Khan or any of the Pakistan officials to say, oh yes, we were inspired by Swachh Bharat, we're going to do this.
Like Swachh Bharat.
Yes.
There's a lot of common denominators.
There are lots of comparisons that one can make and lots of similarities in it. I guess both for India and Pakistan, it is an issue that they're going to want to address. And Swachh Bharat has really got into the minds of a lot of people in India and has changed the mindset. And I guess that's something that Imran Khan will want to do in Pakistan.
Yeah, you've got to start at the grassroots, because that's where pollution happens. So it's good to have that leadership that's now going to promote that agenda, educate people, encourage people, inspire people to live cleanly, hygienically, less polluted. It's a win-win for everyone.
The cleanliness campaign launched on October the 8th, which was yesterday. Aslam Khan, the spokespeople, said the government will launch an aggressive campaign on all forms of media for educating people and motivating them for participation in the upcoming Clean and Green Pakistan campaign. They're going to appoint at least 6 national cleanliness ambassadors, one from each province. He says they want to try and get celebrities involved. I guess that's almost the key as well. I read that viral video of Virat Kohli, for example, where they talk to someone. If you remember, it was in a car, they dropped a bottle out of their car.
That's right,
a bottle, and it was pollution. But that kind of took off on Twitter and created a bit of a Twitter storm. But I guess it's about getting celebrities, people with a high profile.
It is. We need role models. People need role models to look up to take lead on a certain agenda, and I think it's a great idea.
India says it wants a clean India by the 2nd of October 2019. Like you say, Saloni, a 5-year plan, which is what Pakistan has implemented as well. Let's stay on topic with Pakistan and India, because last week when you weren't here, we talked about these stalled talks on the sidelines of the UN between Pakistan and India. There was a hope that both countries' foreign ministers were going to meet and be able to talk about the issues around Jammu and Kashmir. And India, in the end, pulled out of those discussions. You'll know that Imran Khan had sent a letter to Narendra Modi saying he wanted dialogue. Imran Khan then put out a tweet, which was very frustrated at the fact that it didn't happen, those talks. Pakistan now says it wants the US to facilitate talks, but the US says that it won't do that. Where are you at on India's reasons for not wanting to talk?
There's always two sides to the story, because Modi and his government are very reasonable. As soon as Imran Khan got elected, Modi called him up and, congratulated him. So there's a reason why India has pulled out and stalled these talks. It was Kashmir Martyrs Day last month, and Pakistan issued some postage stamps martyring certain people that would be deemed as terrorists, but they were marked as victims and freedom fighters, the prime example being Burhan Wani, and he was killing Indian security at the Kashmir borders. And so India weren't happy at Pakistan glorifying these terrorists, and that's why these talks have stalled.
We had callers on this show last week, people that were watching may well remember, people saying, hang on, the stamps thing was an older issue, that India was just bringing this up for no reason. Why not move past it now and actually open up dialogue when the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been willing to have that discussion? And India seemingly, it's stalled for a long time, discussions between the two countries, but the only way, even if we bring in the stamps issue, the only way things are going to be solved is if both sides sit down and talk.
I
Do you think
perfectly
that's
agree.
still the best answer?
I think talking is always a win-win solution in any scenario, in any relationship.
Do you have any sympathy for the Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi? Because he says that they've requested the US to have a hand in these talks, if you like, to mediate it. He says when we ask the US to play a facilitating role, because we're not engaging bilaterally with India, we want that engagement, we want to sort this, we want to focus, we want to move on the western side of the border, he says, but the US isn't willing to do it, and India's not willing to talk either. Do you have any sympathy for his frustration?
It does sound like a stalemate situation, but I'm sure, again, there must be a lot more to it. They do need to talk. India wants bilateral, and with Pakistan turning to the US, that makes it trilateral, and that's not what India wants. So there has to be some sort of consensus between the two countries to move forward. There are two good leaders there. Imran Khan is doing very good for Pakistan. He has a great vision. Narendra Modi has already proved himself in 4 years, and he's really brought India out from where it was. So I do believe things can move forward. It's just a bit of that stalemate at the moment.
India's Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj has, of course, talked about this too, and saying that Pakistan is not doing enough to tackle terrorism on its island. Until it does that seriously, India is not willing to sit down. But Qureshi then saying they have to realise, I think they were being simplistic if they feel that everything that's wrong on the Indian side of Kashmir is all of Pakistan's making. He says that is an unrealistic approach. I guess, Saloni, you're saying that actually ultimately talking about this is the only way it's going to be solved.
Yeah, you have to talk. Open dialogue is the only way to move forward.
Do you think Narendra Modi's not doing it with an eye on the election as well? He knows that actually having this perhaps dialogue with Pakistan with his strong, the right side of his base, doesn't want anything to do with Pakistan in any kind of discussion. It keeps them happy because he's thinking about his vote bank for next year.
I don't think it's just the vote bank. There have been triggers from the Pakistan side why India have been unhappy. So if Pakistan could address that, I think they could reach some sort of medium consensus.
Let's move on to our next story about the Rohingya refugees. These are the ones that are in India. This is from Reuters about India deporting 7 Rohingya Muslims to Myanmar. There are around an estimated 40,000 in India at the moment who've fled, of course, from Myanmar because of the violence there. United Nations has accused Myanmar of acting against the Rohingya with genocidal intent. That is something that Myanmar, of course, denies, and it says its military is not doing that, but the UN will point to a lot of evidence, as will other Western countries who are trying to put pressure on Myanmar for its treatment of the Rohingya. But India has chosen to send these 7 back, and it's led to more fears now that more will be sent back because of the Modi government, which has made its position quite clear on this, and Amit Shah, who is the BJP chief, has had quite a lot to say. He was talking at a rally. He says, elect us back next year, and the BJP will not allow a single one of them to stay in this country. And he wasn't mentioning any specific group in that, but it was taken as he was talking particularly about the Rohingya. He's talked. So what did you make of the language that he used in particular? He said all illegal immigrants are like termites eating into the nation's security. We've heard language.
I heard that, it reminded me of Trump, and he got elected. It also reminds me a little bit on Brexit. People are getting a bit fed up with all of the mass immigration that's coming through under the label of refugees, because people are looking at their national security, they're looking at their sovereignty, they want control of their borders, and also their infrastructure, because remember, these refugees need housing, education, medical care, jobs. So a lot of people are feeling quite unhappy, and also the lack of integration of these refugees as well. So that language has come through before.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Trump, you mentioned what was populist here around the
Yeah.
Brexit debate, and using this kind of language. It's also
Yeah.
nothing new if we even think back to something like Nazi Germany and making a group a target, whether it was the Jews in that case, is often a populist thing that's done around politics. I mean, careful around the comparison, but still the other as being a way to galvanize support has been well used since time immemorial in politics. But this is still different, isn't it? Around Myanmar, we know the violence that's happening there. The United Nations says that there is genocidal intent. I mean, it's shocking to see some of the pictures and some of the stories, the independent stories that have come out of Myanmar, the way that the Rohingya are being treated. Does India not have a duty like any other decent country to at least offer refuge and protection?
And India has a great history of taking in refugees. They took in the Jews where no one else would. So they do have that. It's just that, again, like I mentioned, for those reasons, why now there is a struggle and why it's becoming a populist